Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask Chris Anything. I think this should be a, a regular thing. And I'm Jim, and here with Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. And Learn Google Photos is brought to you by Geeks on Tour. Chris, take it away.
Hi, everybody. And I hope you have a lot of Google Photos questions. We are coming to you from our little camper van RV. What it was, Studio V, right? For
I like that.
van.
Yeah. Our
Or
van.
but then there's VA. I'm in A and he's in B. He's in the front of the van. I'm in the back of the van and we are live.
And we are. Okay.
And we like to just jump right into questions. So, Jim, be my comment wrangler here. Find me a question and I will answer it.
Okay, Connie asks, I was going to subscribe to Google Photos, but was concerned when they asked for access to all my photos. I don't want to share photos of passport and other personal items. What do you do there?
Okay, hey Connie, that is a relatively new message. It is only on the iPhone, so I'm on iOS. So I'm assuming you are using an iPhone. If you are using an Android, it doesn't ask that question. But there's two things. Number one, just because they're in Google Photos does not mean you are sharing them. You are not. Your Google Photos library is private for your eyes only. The only way, and this is really, really true, honest, the only way anybody else can see your photos is if you choose to specifically share them. So that's number one. Just the fact that Google Photos library has a copy of your photos does not mean anybody else can see them. Number two, I understand though about your passport and other private document type of photos. I just don't use the camera roll. Just I don't take a photo of my passport and keep it in my photos on my iPhone. I put it into something like LastPass or Evernote. It should not be in with your photos. It shouldn't be considered a photo. It should be considered a file in some other secure app, such as LastPass or Evernote.
Okay, good. Sue wants to know. I miss her. She wants to say, I miss Picasso so much. You're not alone, Sue. How do I make a collage in Google Photos?
See where somebody says we have an echo. Uh, and I don't know where that's coming from.
Hmm.
So I'll try to talk softly. Picasa is the best for collages. You can make collages in Google Photos. Let me show you. So I'm sharing my screen here, going to Google Photos. It's super, super simple. It's just not very good. So here's a picture of us where we are right now. That's our little van. And here I am driving it. And there's another picture of it. So I just selected 3 pictures. You click the plus and then collage. That's it. That's all there is to it. The problem is that's it. That's all there is to it. You cannot. If I wanted the picture of the 3 of us to be the top picture, I cannot do it. So that's what the deal is with collages with Google Photos. So I still use Picasa. When I wanna make a fancy collage, I download the pictures that I want. So if I wanted that picture to be available to Picasa, it has to be on my hard drive. You do that by clicking the 3 dots and download. So I would download each of the pictures that I want in the collage, and then I would open them using Picasa and make the collage from there. And I do have a video on how to do that. Where are our videos? They are all at geeksontour.com and under tutorials and all videos. And there are nearly 700 of them now, not all on Google Photos and Picasa, but a lot of them are. If I just do a control F to find the title and type collage, there we go. Number 455, making collages with Google Photos or Picasa. It steps you through the whole process, and I agree, Picasa is better.
Okay. Let's see more comments. Do, 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 do. And the app has save a copy, but I can't find that on the website. Also, is there a way to add text to the image? I know about adding it to the info area.
Okay. First, save a copy. So I will go to the web version of Google Photos and I will open up this picture. This is where we are right now. The way you do a save a copy, you have to start to edit it. So you click on the edit button and then you have the option with the 3 dots to save a copy. So that the key is to pretend that you're going to edit it. Then you can save a copy. And the second part of your question, what was that? Text on photo?
Oh, where did I do it?
Was that the?
No, wrong one.
I think the second part of that question was text on photo, and unfortunately, you cannot do that on the computer, but you can on the if you have an Android. So here's my Android phone, and under edit and more markup. There it is. They moved it to the front. It's called markup and text. So Jim at home. Oops. Home. There we go. And done. And then you can move it around and you can, and I have a video on that too. Same thing. You go to geeksontour.com, tutorial videos, and search for text on photos. And if you, yeah, so that's it. You can't do it on the computer with Google Photos. You know, you'd have to download it and use Picasa.
So she says the app has save a copy, but I can't find that on the website.
I just did that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, you have to edit first.
All right. Civilized time for Australia.
Yeah, we usually do this in the
afternoon. So yeah, we thought we'd try it a little bit different, and yeah, so cool. All right, I'm finally getting going with Google Photos, so I'm here to learn, and we're glad you're here, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Joe. Joe, you might have two windows open. That's the only thing that I can think of. And best way to add captions? Mike wants to know.
Well, I think that's the same thing. If you want, depends on what you mean by captions. So I'll go back to my photos on the computer, And I could, if I get back out of here, I can just done. Let's say I want to put a description on the computer. This is called a description, and it's on the little eye. On a phone, you just swipe up and you will see the place where you can add a description. So we're at our friends Techno RVs. And that's kind of like writing on the back of the photo. Now, where does it show up? It doesn't show up in very many places. But if you are viewing there, see how if you're viewing the photo full screen, see how the caption, if you will, the description does appear over here. If you want it actually on the photo, then you have to use that technique to type text, the markup technique to type text on the photo.
All right, good. All right. Hi, honey. It's good to see you. All right. It's because he's too close to you in the RV. Well, we're on headsets, so it should not be so bad, but I will mute when I'm not talking. Thanks. All right. So a lot of people don't have echo, but some people do, so we're Chris, do you think Google Photos will ever improve the collage setup online?
I would not hold my breath. We've asked the powers that be at Google this exact question, and they said that it was not. There are so many other tools, and there's all sorts of free apps. If on your phone, if you just Google for, or if you go to your app store and search for Collage Maker, there's a ton of them. So there are so many other ways to make collages, and Google Photos is all about being super, super quick and easy and simple. So it's possible, but I don't expect it. No.
All right. Sadly, that's how I'm making collages with my old Picasso too. Shame on Google Photos for not incorporating all that Picasso did. All right. I don't think you're really done whining yet, Sue, but that's okay. You can send feedback using the app, Google Photos app, and that will allow you to, well, at least vent so you get that information out there. And they do read those things and they do listen, but whether or not they're going to incorporate your desires and wishes is another story altogether. All right, let's see. Put old movies on flash drive, but then could not add the movies to Google Photos. It said it was in the wrong format.
MP4 is the standard one, the standard format for movies. So I don't know what format yours were. Sorry, I can show you in the help. So if I go to Google Photos and click on the help and ask for video formats, the help is the question mark, and then you can search for what you're looking for. It does not handle all formats, but it does a lot of them. Video format. And yeah, it's under backup photos and videos, because I have been here before. And it will tell you all the formats that can be. So if yours is an off format, you might need to convert them. There are ways to convert formats of videos from one to another. What you need to back up photos and videos, file types that can be, here's the video file types that can be backed up. So see what yours is. If it's in that list, then there's something else wrong. I would see if you can play them on your computer. But those are
All
the
right.
file sizes, types that Google Photos can back up.
All right. Bob wants to know, is there a way to coax Google to create a panorama?
Yeah, actually, I haven't done it because, yeah, I'm not sharing screen now. I haven't done it because the smartphones these days take such good panoramas. I mean, I think what you're talking about is in the old days, that's what I call it, with a regular camera. If we were at the Grand Canyon, I would take one picture, two pictures, three pictures, four pictures, five pictures, and then you had to stitch them together. Google Photos used to, anyway, I think it still does, notice. I mean, if you have taken one, two, three, four, five photos of a panorama, Google Photos does notice that, and it just of its own bidding creates a panorama. So, but there is nothing, if it doesn't do it, there's nothing you can do to force it. No.
Jalen thinks she believes you. She was asking where you find the copy once you've saved it. You save the copy.
I think it's right next to the, well, so that can be an issue if you're working with a photo that is from like 3 years ago, then the copy, I'm pretty sure, will have the same date as the original, so you have to find it in 3 years ago. It won't be at the top, but you can ask for recently added. That's the way to find things that you've just been working on and you don't know the actual date of the file. If you ask for recently added, it's in the search feature.
All right. John says, what is the app that I need to run in Windows to sync my photos to Google Photos?
Okay. So I want to make sure. Are you asking the photos that are on your computer, you want them to get uploaded to Google Photos, or the photos that are in the cloud in Google Photos you want down on your computer? Completely different answer for those. If you want photos that are on your computer to automatically go into your Google Photos, the app is called Google Backup and Sync. If you want it the other way around, Google doesn't do that. You need to use a yeah,
Dropbox.
it doesn't do that. So,
There's no synchronization.
right.
Okay, so some Facebook users looking forward to seeing us in Gillette, and we're on our way. All right. Why doesn't iPhone have markup for captions on photos?
Well, interesting you should ask that. Let me, just today, I can't believe this, just today, the editing features on my iPhone, Google Photos, changed. So let me show you that. It still does not have markup, but I wonder if it is coming. So let me, here is my iPhone, and when I tap the edit button, it looks completely different than it did yesterday. It's a lot more like the editing on the Android in that it's a horizontal. It used to be more vertical, but it still does, and it has a lot of the new features, but I do not see markup. Markup is still only on the Android, but I think this gives me hope that they're changing the iPhone.
Yeah, hope springs eternal. Mike wants to know the best way to share photos.
Uh, okay. Well, actually, start going to the ones that ask questions previously, and there is one about sharing there. The best way to share photos is the way that your recipient wants them. So, so for example, we we were with a group of friends the other day, and we took a picture of one of them, and she said, "Oh, that's a great picture. Will you give it to me?" And I don't know if this person uses Google Photos. I don't know if she uses Facebook. So I do know her email or her text. And that means that's the best way. It's whatever way your recipient wants to receive it. Also, the fact that she liked the photo and wanted it for herself means I should send her the real photo, which would work if I send it by attaching it to an email or sending it in a text message. However, if we we went to New Zealand and we have all these great pictures that we want to share with friends, no, I would not email them my all my 200, photos each day. I am going to make an album and I'm going to send them the link to that album so they can just look at them at their leisure, and if they want one they can copy it, but it's not taking up space in their email.
Okay, let's get to some of the questions that we got before. Ed wants to know when I try to email photos from my desktop Google Photos to recipients who have Gmail, they are not receiving them. Is there a setting I'm missing?
I get that question, well, a similar question to that a lot. So I actually wrote a whole article on it today, and I'll show you that in a minute. But meanwhile, let me show you uh, on on the phone. So what he's talking about is he shared. So here's a picture of me driving our little camper van, and let's say I want to share that with somebody. You open the picture, you tap the share button, and then there's a bunch of choices here. So this is what the first choice says: send in Google Photos. So if I just tap Jim's face here and next, and then say, you know, I'm driving, and send, he is not going to get an email. He is not going to get a text message. This is being sent in Google Photos. So what does that mean? I am here in my Google Photos, and see this sharing has a little red button on it. So that means that somebody has shared photos with me in Google Photos, not an email, not in a text message, in Google Photos. And so you have to tap on that little where you see the red button, and here is photos that Jim and I have shared back and forth. And this is called a conversation. So Jim sends me pictures, I send him pictures, and it's like a conversation, but it's in Google Photos. That's something that most people don't understand. And let me show you where I wrote an article then. Do you all know that we have a website called learngoogle.photos.com? This is where you can get the book, but if you keep scrolling down, you'll see all the blog articles. So I write articles all the time about Google Photos. And here's one: emailing photos using Google Photos. And Ed, I used your question. Ed has a question. When I try to email photos, they're not receiving them. That's because they're looking for them in their email and they're not there. They need to look for them in their Google Photos. But then I go on, what if you do want to email them? It's very easy, but there are 4 different ways. So I cover them all in here, and then there's a video. So if you want to learn how to email photos using Google Photos, it's all here.
All right, Carl wants to know, on a recent show, you emphasized that some people complain about the quality of photos from Google Photos because they were grabbing a photo the wrong way. Can you explain that or demonstrate?
Yes. And so let me go to, so what he's talking about is if I am looking at this photo, I'm on my computer and I'm looking at this photo. Now Jim took this photo actually with his Pixel phone. So there's no way that this is being stored on my computer. It's in the cloud. It's in the Google Photos cloud. Most people, or a lot of people, when they see a photo on their computer screen that they want on their hard drive, they will right click it and choose Save Image As. That is the wrong way. That is just a browser command, and therefore you're just getting the screen resolution of this photo. It's going to be nowhere near as good as the one that's being stored in Google Photos. The right way to do it is to click the 3 dots and choose download. That is downloading the full picture from Google Photos to your computer.
Great.
Right way and wrong way.
Okay, but if it gets done, it's probably the right way. Marty says, I am interested in any and all information about gathering all my photos and putting them in albums. So albums are the way to organize your photos in Google Photos, right?
Okay, yes. And she went on to say, she told me that she has the book. So where should she go in the book? And let me, uh, so here is the book. And I have updated it for 2021 so that it doesn't say that it's free unlimited anymore, because that changed on June 1. And if you look through the table of contents, it's chapter 8, organizing with albums and favorites. So this is all about making albums and revising albums, adding photos, deleting photos, reorganizing photos within an album, and how you do it.
Great. All right. William says, I have a ton of scanned photos that do not have metadata indicating when they were taken. They are currently stored on a hard drive in folders by year. How do I upload them and keep the years?
That's a problem, because Google Photos keeps all of our photos in one giant stream in order by the date that is on each photo. So you cannot just upload a group of folders from your computer that have dates on them and expect that to be maintained. However, it's not. Let me show you my ideas. So if I have a sample, so I have demo photos here. And here is a folder of old scans. Now this is on a Windows computer. I don't have a Mac, but I'm sure this can be done on a Mac as well. Here are old scans. Now, let's say that you had a folder that said 1959 scans, and these were the photos in there. In Windows, if you click on a photo and you have your details pane showing, that's what's over here. Notice that it says this photo was taken on February 5, 2012. Well, that's the date I scanned it, not the date it was taken. I can just change that. I can say 1959 and then save. And I can do that for all the photos. I can just select them all and click on the date and say 1959 and save. All of those photos that I had selected have now been date stamped with 1959. And when I upload these to Google Photos, they will be in order by that date. So that's how I say to do it. It's a bit of work, but it will do the trick.
All right. Carl, after switching from Android to iPhone, I find that I have to physically open the Google Photos app and wait for the sync to finish. Really?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. It's something that I often neglect to mention, but it's not an absolute thing. So, two things. First, there is a setting on your iPhone that allows background refresh on an app. So, let me show you that. Here is my iPhone. I go into my system settings, and you have to find the Google Photos app and make sure that this background app refresh is on. But that's not all, you know, but that is kind of it's important that that be on. But then the way I've had it explained to me is your phone is constantly managing its own resources. And the more you open an app, the more it figures that that app's resources, is important enough to use resources on. But yes, you do have to open it and see that they're being backed up. And the way you do that, you open the app, you tap on the account button, and I want to see backup complete. Now, I use my Google Photos so much on my iPhone that it's always, it is happening in the background. If you use it seldom, it is important for you to open it up and check and make sure that it is uploading. You might see a message once in a while that will just say, open the app and leave it open to upload photos the fastest way. They will still upload in the background, but it'll be a lot slower.
All right. A couple of things. What's new? 4 tabs at the bottom instead of 3. So that was with the newest update, right? And sharing button changed to print store.
Yeah, what that's talking about, and I've had it on my iPhone for a while now. Let me show you my two. So here is the one on the left. Oh, come on. The one on the left is my Android. The one on the right is the iPhone. And notice that the Android has 3 buttons at the bottom and the iPhone has 4. What's the different one? The different one is sharing. On the Android, it's the little button in the top left that stands for sharing. When it changes to the 4 buttons on the bottom, that button will change to shopping. So that this is now how you order photo prints. And the which one is newer? The one on the right. The iPhone one is newer. And didn't you say, Jim, your phone, your Pixel, which is an Android, now has the 4 buttons on the bottom?
Yeah, that happened just last week for me.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And what was the other one? Oh, yeah, the editing on the iPhone is now more, they keep trying to make the different systems be more like each other, but
But
it
Google's
doesn't.
not really known to have, for the consistency over other devices. It's
Right,
not always
right.
the same. All right. And then this one here, what's new? New editing menu comes to the iPhone. So you should talk about that.
Yeah, I did just briefly. When I open a photo, uh, and tap edit on the iPhone, I now get an edit menu that is more like the one that's been on Android for a while.
Okay, cool. That's that part. And
And one more thing that is changing that I didn't mention in the notes there anywhere. You may have heard about something called, let me just get back. You may have heard about something called a locked folder. So this is something a lot of us want, like the question earlier that said she didn't want her passport to be included in her Google Photos. Locked folder accomplishes that. Right now, it's only available on Pixel phones. It will be coming out. Personally, I don't like it. I see the need to have a password protected hidden folder, but this locked folder, when you put a photo into this locked folder, this new feature on Pixel phones, you're taking it out of Google Photos and just putting it on your phone. It only exists being stored on your phone in a locked folder on your phone. So, for example, if you get a new phone, you have to realize that you have some important photos that you need to get from your old phone. Most of us think, I don't need that. All my photos are in Google Photos. I can just give my old phone away, get my new phone, tell it that I'm using Google Photos, and I have all my photos back. Not the ones that were in the locked folder. You won't. So if you really want a locked folder, it's coming, but make sure you understand what it is.
all right. Megan says Google
Hi,
Photos keep
Megan.
syncing to my Apple Photos, even though I've turned off that setting. Suggestions on how to stop that?
Google Photos keeps syncing to my Apple Photos. Something's lost in translation here because Google Photos is in the Google Cloud. I think maybe you're thinking the other way around because so you take a picture with your iPhone and that is stored on your iPhone in the camera roll. Now, both Google Photos and Apple Photos see that photo that is in your camera roll. Then, if you have iCloud turned on your Apple Photos side, that photo gets uploaded to your Apple Cloud, iCloud. If you have backup and sync on your Google Photos, that photo gets uploaded to your Google Cloud. So I'm not quite sure. Or are you talking about deletions? And that's a whole other story. Uh, when you delete using Google Photos, it deletes the copy that's on the device. Apple Photos then, or iCloud rather, synchronizes that deletion throughout your Apple universe. That's the way iCloud works. This is one thing that keeps coming up. It's so important to get the concept somehow. You need to get where is that photo? You take a picture with your phone. Where is that photo stored? On the device. Phone goes overboard, you lose your photo. Unless you have something like Google Photos backup turned on and that photo gets copied to the cloud. Now, where is that photo? You have two of them. You have one copy stored on the device. You have one copy that has been uploaded to the cloud. If you're also using Apple Photos and iCloud, now you have three because you have a cloud copy that Apple copied. Okay. enough of my enough of my cloud lesson.
Okay. Sue has another. I use great apps on my iPhone, but they don't work on the iMac, like Snapseed, for example. It's wonderful, but the screen is so small on the iPhone. Get an iPad, a bigger screen.
iPad is nice for doing Snapseed. Yes, very much.
And Snapseed is not available on either the Windows or on the Mac. So
Right,
yeah,
Snapseed is a
sets need
mobile app only.
only. So you have to
It's
find
not for
another.
Windows. However, both iPad is a suggestion and Chromebook is a suggestion because Chromebooks can run Android apps, and Snapseed does have an Android version.
Yeah, great.
We love Snapseed, and we have a whole course on Snapseed at geeksontour.com.
Jill, Google Photos doesn't recognize all faces for facial recognition. Is there a way to force that or to improve the recognition?
The way to improve the recognition or to get it to recognize, there's no specific command to say, please recognize this face. But if you just work with the photos more, I have been distressed that I've taken some pictures of a particular friend, and a few days later, I look and that friend's face has not been put into the people section, with its own face. But if I then edit one of her pictures, copy it, make a collage, share it with somebody, the more you touch it, the more Google Photos says, oh, it kind of sits up and pays attention. After you touch it a lot, I have found that it does its job. That said, there is one thing you can do, and let me show you here. So let's say I'll go into this and I'll click on the little I for info, and now this photo was taken just yesterday, and boom, 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 it recognized all three faces in there. Let's see if I can find one. Well, it would take me too long to find an example. Let me show you the article I wrote about it in Learn Google Photos. There's, this is where I have all my articles about Google Photos. And if you search for, let's see, manually tag faces, I think is what I called it. Yeah, Google Photos and manual face tagging. So I click on that title and then read more. And if it has not, so here was a picture of 3 people. Now it got Jim and me, but it didn't get this third person at all. If you click on the eye, you should see a little pencil appear in the people section. And then it has a little square over everybody's face. And you can click on the person who is missing and click the little plus and add her to the faces. And by the same token, if somebody is misidentified, you can click the little minus to subtract them from that person and then add them to a correct person. So there is some manual face taking you can do. But if the person's face hasn't shown up at all, then it's touching it a lot. That helps.
Okay. Sorry. Nope. Okay, disregarded. Where'd that go? My screen's okay. Is that the one regarding Google storage? Does Google One save all my Gmail information as well? If so, how much does this affect my storage totals for my photos?
Yes. Yes, the issue with Google One. Okay, so what is Google One? Google One is your account. I mean, Google has so many services, Gmail, Calendar, Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Sites. There's just so many different things you can use Google for, but your account is over it all. So if you think of Google like a department store, then Google One is the customer service department, the accounting department where your account information is. And Google One manages your storage. You get 15 gigabytes of free storage that is used by Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Photos. Those 3. So if you go, let me show you this. If you go to one.google.com, one.google.com, and then click on storage. And first of all, be logged in with your account. So I'm seeing my little face in the upper right-hand corner here. I'm logged in with my account, storage. And it tells me that I have 102 gig. I'm paying the $2 a month for the 100 gigabytes. And there's 8 gigabytes taken up by Google Drive, 10 gigabytes by Gmail, only 0.25 by Google Photos because everything that I uploaded before June 1 was in high quality and therefore didn't count. And then family storage. So this $2 a month that we pay, that's shared between Jim and me. And he's not using any of it. All right. So that's yes, Google One does manage your storage for all 3 services.
Okay, Sue. Hi, Sue. Will you talk about FeedBurner leaving Google Blogger? No. How can we notify our readers?
Yeah, that is too bad. I don't know what to say, and I have not found an alternative yet. But I will say the person that I follow has a blog. Yeah, and I will post that somewhere.
John thinks the tip you gave about the best practice for uploading folders is a great, great tip. And she was able to upload all the photos, paintings, and stuff. As soon as they're finished uploaded, the opportunity to immediately create an album. That's the way to organize your photos. Yeah.
Okay, what she's talking about, so I created is drag and drop, I think. So um, let me demonstrate that. If and I have some demo photos here, and I want them to be uploaded to my, and this is on my computer, on my C drive. And if I want them to be uploaded to my Google Photos, what I do is I just get this on one part of the screen and I get my Google Photos on another part. So with Windows, I'm doing that with the Windows and left arrow that puts that on the left side. And then I go to my Google Photos and I window right arrow. So now I have my Windows files and folders on the left side. I have my Google Photos library on the right side. And if I just drag 1966 Alaska, Canada from here over to here, it says drop files anywhere to upload. And I made sure there weren't very many photos in there. And when it's done, it will give me the option to create an album. It can't upload one item. That's because it's not a photo. There was something in that folder that wasn't a photo. Okay, continue. And add to album. And it will give me a chance here to give a name. So 1966 Alaska and check mark. So now I have upload by dragging and dropping. And if this folder also belonged in Alaska, I could just now drag it into this same album. And now that would not only upload all those 1998 pictures into this album, but they would be in that album. So if you have years and months, you can just keep dragging the months into the year album and they all collect.
Does Snapseed still work to add text on photos?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Snapseed is great for adding text on photos. Yes. And but you still need a mobile device, either iOS or Android or Chromebook.
Patricia, does Google Photos recognize duplicates? Yes.
Duplicates. Well, Google Photos does not allow exact duplicates. I mean, if you uploaded one picture and in an hour you forget that you did that and you upload the same picture, it won't go. I mean, it will look like it did. It will look like it got uploaded, and it will get put into whatever album if you dragged it into an album. But if you look at your library, it will not be there twice. Google doesn't allow that. That said, if you've done anything to that picture in between the first upload and the second upload, like cropped it or changed the date or resized it, Google sees that as a new picture and it will get uploaded regardless of the file name. If it's the same file name, that doesn't matter. It will be considered a new picture.
My camera's roll says waiting to sync. I click on the sync icon, but nothing happens.
Your camera roll says waiting to sync. Now, we're talking about Google Photos here, and Google Photos doesn't say waiting to sync. It says waiting to upload. Let me show you what I mean by, so I'm I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone. Okay. Now I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to take a picture with my phone. Hi. Oh, here, I'll take a picture of Jim up in the front of the RV. Yeah. And maybe a picture out our back window there. Okay. So I've just taken 3 pictures with this phone. Now, if I go into Google Photos. Now, not camera roll. Don't open the camera. We're talking about Google Photos. So you go into Google Photos, and the account button up here says waiting for connection. 3 items to back up. The 3 pictures that I just took are not getting uploaded, are not getting backed up to Google Photos because I turned off my Wi-Fi. Now, all I have to do is turn my Wi-Fi back on, and they start backing up. So that's what I think you might be talking about, but camera roll is something else, and it doesn't
Okay.
work.
Oh, Jolyn doesn't trust her mouse or trackpad that it works all the time. She doesn't like the drag and drop, and I understand that.
Okay, just the beauty of the drag and drop is that you can do it folder at a time. That's all. If you're clicking on the upload button and selecting, then you have to select all the pictures.
Yeah, the drag works nicely. Okay. I don't see any more. Patricia
Okay.
says thank you. Do you have
Okay.
something else there?
Just let me look at my notes to make sure. Oh, I didn't show them the LGP book online. So I showed you in the book, chapter 8 is all about albums. I've done lots of videos and other things about albums. Let me show you how you can find that. If you go to, and this is in the book. So this is, you guys are getting a little inside thing here. LGP for Learn Google Photos book dot online. This is the online companion to the book. And every chapter has a playlist of videos. So here we are at Learn Google Photos, the book, and every chapter here, you go down to chapter 8, Organizing with Albums and Favorites, click that, and Authors Videos for chapter 8. Click that, and you get a playlist of videos that are all about working with albums in Google Photos. Bunch of
Very
them.
cool. So that's lgpbook.online. It's the online companion. It's not .com or .anything. It's .online. That's the big that's the big piece. All right. So we do want you to buy the book if you don't already have it. It is available at Amazon and Kindle. The Kindle is really I think the best way to do it because you get all of the
You can search.
You can search it.
You can bookmark. You can highlight.
Yeah.
And you can click the links to get. Oh, I see one new one here. Jill Rosine Zeplicki. When I take a picture of a photo, it shows home as the location, and that location can't be changed. If you're talking about the geographic location, yes, it can. Using the computer version, using the web version of Google Photos, I will go to the web version, And yeah, like this entering Banff National Park. This was a scanned photo. So it certainly doesn't have the location. It was not geotagged, but I can click the pencil under add a location. Or if it had a location, I could edit it with the pencil. And Banff Banff, Alberta, Canada. There we go. Now this photo does have the location of Banff on it.
Great. All right, we've gone through an hour. How about that, Chris?
Yay!
Yeah, pretty cool. All right. So, thanks. You're welcome. All right. She does explain things so well. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you. Our next thing coming up will be we'll be doing our What Does This Button Do show on Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, which will be, I think we'll be in Waco, Texas. That's the plan. So it'll be 1 o'clock Central time. So 2 o'clock on Sunday. And then for our premium members, we plan on doing a Zoom meetup, our backstage pass. So join us then if you can. And I guess that's it for us. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
We are Geeks on Tour.
Tour.
And we're happy to do this stuff. You guys be well, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.